Yeah.
Hi everyone.
Nobody here yet.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Great, yeah, excellent.
You know, the spiritual warfare.
We're live now on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Why would they?
Good morning, everybody. We're in Belfast, Northern Ireland, on our last day of the Irish tour. With the amazing Irish people who've been so welcoming and open. Straight after this street activism, we're heading off. So we should be here for a few hours. It's very busy. We're very near City Hall in Belfast. I can't actually remember the name of the street. Let me see. Tyler, come on. We're on the corner of Calendar Street, just at the back of Marks and Spencer's, side precinct road.
Who's in the chat?
Beg pardon?
Who's in the chat? Can you see the chat?
I haven't seen yet. 20 people watching, I don't know. Nobody's...
Oh.
This flat earther called Mark has just introduced himself to us, and now he's straight engaging into his first ever street activism, talking to the public. And that for me is really rewarding when you see somebody coming out and doing it for the first time. And it's far easier to do it in a group, even though you don't know the people. The fact that you're in a group, it makes it far easier for you. You don't feel under so much stress. And you can do as little or as much as you want, and just gradually do a bit more the more confident you feel.
Check out. Do it recently.
Good crowd though, Mark.
Yeah.
We're live on YouTube.
Hi, folks.
So how are you finding it so far?
I know Belfast people are very friendly, very curious. Start with a question and they just get sucked in.
Yeah, I would say the whole of Ireland have been really open-minded to it, so it's fantastic. Yeah. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
I'm doing some filming for my YouTube channel.
Right.
I'm just asking people's reaction to that. Would you mind if I ask you your reaction?
No, thank you.
Okay, right. It's Car-
I don't think it is.
do you mind if I'm filming for YouTube? Don't mind me on? Okay.
First thing.
Exactly. Not even industry on the feet. Do you know where? When you went down, it's yeah, go on. We can
Yes, for everybody in the chat, I have said where we are. We're actually on the corner of Calendar Street at the back of Marks and Spencer's shop. We're in a Castle Lane. I've just seen the name there. Castle Lane, a precinct lane, no traffic. It's not very far from the city centre town hall.
But if you want to see some of the videos and the street interviews we've been having, you can find them on John's channel, which is John Smith Globline.
Oh.
There you are.
Do you mind being on YouTube?
Prefer not to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But all you're saying is try and think for yourselves, guys. You know, don't believe everything you've been told. Nice to meet you guys. All right.
Thank you, guys. Cheers. Bye now. I've had about 3 or 4 people already saying they don't want to be on camera, so
Yeah, that's cool. I think it's best to engage when you know they're being receptive to the debate, really. Because if they're interested, then they kind of want to be more open to it. But it's funny how you get things from probably different areas. Because like Cork, they were not very receptive there as well. Really.
Yeah.
So sorry, guys. but comparing to others, but it's just when you go different areas, you do see the difference, don't you, between.
yeah. I mean, of course, it could be by chance
Yes, of
on the
course.
day.
Yes.
However, yeah, I agree. It was less receptive in Cork. We've all met a couple of nice people there.
Have you heard of it? You not to answer my question.
I have to take some clothes off. It's really hot here today. It's a beautiful warm day. Take my jacket off.
No, I was me. Oh no, I mean the ball.
It's a bit hot, isn't it?
The people here are a little
Odd. Well, everybody so far said I don't want to be on camera. So
Have they?
you've just insulted the whole of Belfast now.
No, I just. Anyway, I'm just going to the. I love the Belfast people so much.
Would you like a shovel?
Like, well, let's say you're falling, and then
Why is it so hot?
you're falling through it. You mean? Yeah. I've seen skydivers.
I've got the phone in my teeth for a second.
When did you finish?
Oh.
What's your general thoughts about what team? Yeah, but it's because of the program. They've been programmed as the after. You know, you remember when you're in school, they show you this flat here,
Charger back in.
It's all very, very
Not enough hands. Yeah, so it's a beautiful day here in Belfast. Been really fortunate with the weather the whole time we've been in Ireland.
psychological conditioning what they're doing to the
I'm just fumbling about with my power pack at the moment.
is a very, very
I'll be shaking the phone for a little while.
But one thing I discovered that's in kind of smart around it is once you realise that it puts it on a scale, then you realise what else are they doing.
See you later. Thank you so much for the cigarette. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
But to me, it resonates. I went to another trying to get a general idea of what's going on with it, why I always do that. I used to push back the birthday videos, laughing myself being programmed.
George James, no, I haven't had the pint yet. Maybe on the boat going back, if I don't get a chance to go out for a quiet drink. This is a big shout out to Alan, who we met yesterday. We met Alan in the streets of Galway. He came back to the van and he got us a really nice meal. So Alan, thank you very much for that. And we really enjoyed your company, engaging with you. We didn't have much time, but we spent a couple of hours with you in the van. Thank you so much for your hospitality. Beautiful meal. Then through the night we travelled through to Belfast. So we were here early in the morning. It's always quite difficult trying to get parking spots. and we have to be off for other engagements late afternoon. So I have no idea what the time is at the moment. I guess it's just after midday or something. So we should have at least 4 hours here. I don't know how long I'll be going live for, but it should be a reasonable amount of time. Yes, Alan, really impressed with you as a person. Your amazing knowledge you've done, the amount of research you've done on ancient subjects. It's always refreshing to hear new knowledge. Big shout out to Alan.
Big shout out to Alan. Thank you very much, mate. Absolute superstar.
Did we get dessert?
Did you get dessert?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I quite like it, yeah. So
Yeah,
I had a
good.
nice conversation with Ivan just.
Yeah, I approached him, but he hadn't read it yet, so then I seen you homed into him.
Yeah. He engaged with his critical thinking to a degree, then distance started creeping in. But I think I've left him some good scientific evidence and see what happens.
Good.
I'm going to go and give some leaflets.
Very busy, yeah. Have you got more leaflets, John? Could you give me a few leaflets just to begin with? I'm not handing that many, but just use for example. Oh, I need them for that photograph. Just can't give them away, can we?
You're basically trying to enforce the point that you believe in reality, when you're viewing through a telescope, it is possible to see something that is behind something.
No, like if I'm trying to say, look at this whole lady here and there,
Exactly. So you're implying that we're seeing that through here.
Hello, Jason. Hope you're doing fine. Hello, Marilyn, Spirit Level. Great to see you here. Team Australia. Hello there. Thanks for joining us. Hello, Francis. Francis, how are you?
Now, as a critically thinking adult, I'm asking you to consider: do you really think bendy water?
Okay. Are you aware of the motion?
Yeah, Marilyn, just like the Energizer buzzer. I may need recharging though.
There's too much YouTube videos.
Thanks for your skeptic. I might just disappear for a while and get that pint of Guinness. Big pen? Oh, thanks. I don't drink coffee, but I'm fine. No, I don't drink that. I've got some water bag, thanks. Yeah. Thanks very much for the offer, though.
Get on there, mate. Right. Look at them. That's not possible. As you said, the wall, the right should not
Nice have admitted we have never been out of low orbit, but then they tell us they've been moved. Both can't be right, so they're lying. They're proven liars. So then, if you know, if your friend lies to you, and then are you going to trust him again in the future? Yeah. So why? But this thing they've been proven liars, but people still continue to believe it, even though they're.
No, you're not. Could I ask you a question in response to that?
What do I think of flat people?
No. What do you think about the information there presented to you?
I think it's well presented, but I think it's kind of bonkers.
May I ask you why you think it's bonkers?
There are things that you don't need to have proved in order to know that they are so.
Like what?
I
My sense of telling me now.
just know that this is not true. I think
Could I
a
ask you what?
very interesting concept. I can
What's your name, by the way?
I'm Shoshana.
Shoshana. I'm Harry.
I think that
I'm just recording from my YouTube channel. We asked the public's reaction to what we're looking at.
physics would tell you that the water would adhere to the planet and that we are held here by gravity. Otherwise, what would be holding us to the earth?
Well, could I speak to you on your own? Because you seem to be conferring with somebody who's encouraged you to laugh at it.
No, I'm not. I don't laugh at other people's beliefs. I'm a little bit.
Could I suggest something to you?
Yes.
Like a lot of scientists get things wrong. Like say global warming.
Of
We have
course.
scientists on both sides of the argument, and one's claiming the other ones are being fraudulent with the data.
I understand
Now,
that.
when you and I believed in Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, we were taken into a classroom and we were told we live on that spinning ball of water around it. Well, we know.
No, I wasn't brought up to believe in Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy, nor in God. My parents didn't believe in
Obviously, your parents.
mythical beings. They believed in telling us the truth.
Excellent.
I was told the things that go bump in the night are not ghosts, and therefore I understand.
I'm with you 100% there.
I'm a logical and intelligent person, and I just, if the world were flat, why has no one come to the end?
Okay, I'll answer that. But first of all, if you say you're a logical, intelligent person, if you watch the behaviour of water, it drops to its lowest level and then it lies flat. Is that not true? So we drop water here.
Unless there's a current,
A current flowing it, yes.
or it's affected by the likes of a water spout or a whirlpool,
Yeah.
or a form of pressure.
Yeah, but water at rest finds its own level, does it not?
But water cannot be at rest because the moon is what pulls it.
But I get water in my cup at rest in its level, isn't it?
But anything will be level if it's on a small enough curve. It's your perception of the curve that will affect your perception of the level of the water.
Yeah, well, being logical, I'd have to say, have you ever seen curved water?
Okay, so there's a curve there. This bit, if I put it on it, it's a small enough plane. It will look flat. Of course it will. But the overall appearance is of a curve.
But can I ask you, have you ever seen the curve?
Does my hair look flat? Yes, of course it does. But we know because you can cut it in two that it's right.
You're asking a lot of questions, but you're not answering any of my questions. Have you ever seen the curvature of the earth?
Have I ever personally seen it? No.
Have you ever seen water curving?
No.
Okay.
Oh, well, no, that's not true. Yes.
So you have a belief that water can curve, but it's not a scientific
no, I
observation.
I'm not saying that water can curve. Water does not have the ability to take a form, but it does have the ability to adhere to a form. And therefore, if that form is curved and it's held in by gravity, the surface of the water will be curved.
Okay, can I ask you how you know that?
Because you can observe that through physics.
So where can we observe that?
If you create a gravitational field and you have a ball and it's a small ball, then you can make water adhere to it.
Okay. But do you know that's never been done?
How do you know that's never been done?
Research.
Whose research?
There's millions of people who are into this subject, been researching for years. Now, science admits that they cannot replicate a working model of a ball with water going around it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes?
What is your agenda?
My agenda is to expose the lie that NASA tell us that we live in a spinning ball.
Why do you think NASA tell us that lie?
Because there's too much evidence to see.
And it's just NASA.
No, it's the government, NASA, education, science. They're all lying
Since
to you about
when?
living on a ball. You don't live in a ball. You live in a flat plane.
Okay, and at what point did this lie start? Who started this lie?
Well, you're asking the wrong person because I'm not the one lying to you.
No, but if you've investigated this lie, you should know that.
Why should I know that?
Because you're saying it's a lie. Well, the first thing you've got to know is who's telling the
Okay.
lie and what is their purpose for telling
Okay,
that lie.
let's just say you came along here and somebody lied to you and you proved how they lied. I don't know that person, so I can't.
No, but
address
that's
them.
not your point. Your point is that NASA has lied to us, and I'm saying it's not just NASA. It's in perpetuation. Who started the lie? If I wanted to know why someone was lying to me, I'd start off with the origin. I'd say, right, who told this lie and
Well,
why?
the puppet masters don't make themselves known to the
But
public.
it's not the public masters. This has been going on since great
Yeah, but
times.
the puppet masters who are pulling the strings at the top, they're not going to let you know, be known.
With
for it.
absolute respect, this is just a question of doing research, of finding out who came up with the theory that the Earth was round. And if I were purporting to investigate this, that's what I would look into.
Well,
I say, where did this historical myth come from, and why do people want us to believe it?
Okay, if I asked you to investigate where we came from, could you tell me?
No, I'm asking you a specific
Well,
question.
I'm showing you the certain.
No, you're saying
let me
that
finish.
someone, let
Let me
me
finish.
finish. You're saying that someone created a lie. Who's the someone?
I don't know. I told you
Well, then why are you saying it's a lie?
because it's an obvious lie. It's proof.
How do you
It's
know?
proof proving
There
it.
is no proof. You don't even know who told the lie.
Why are you saying there's no proof when
There
you've
is
not
no proof.
investigated it?
There's no proof. Your proof is what? It's based on your understanding of physics. It's-
My natural observations.
Yeah, so that's physics. Your observations of
The
physics.
physics of water and how water behaves.
So-
the physics of a ball.
You have no proof. You have
Yes, I do.
your interpretation of physics.
I have proof, but you haven't
You
even
have
asked for any yet.
your
You're
interpretation
telling me what I've
of
got
physics.
and you're not even asked.
But you can't even tell me who told you the lie.
You're focusing on one
I
question.
regret to inform you that I think that your hypothesis makes no
I haven't
sense.
presented any. You haven't even given me a
You
chance to
told me
speak.
that the Earth is flat.
Hello, you're not giving me a chance to speak.
You'll have to excuse me. You're just making no sense.
I think you're closed-minded, Minder.
Sorry?
I think you're closed-minded.
To be fair, we don't know that it's not flat either.
No, this doesn't say.
NASA is telling us
Why?
lies.
Yes, it is.
Why are they telling us this lie? I just want to see your dog, to be honest.
Thank you.
What's your dog?
Tara,
Is he a photographer?
she sent me. She got me into Flat Earth.
He seems pretty content with it.
Yeah, she used to come out on the streets, so and she likes getting petted by ladies. So
Hello. What type of? Is she a certain breed or just a
Sorry?
moggy? Is she just a moggy?
she's a Lakeland Terrier. Sorry, what did you say? 'Cause I couldn't hear from here what you said.
Oh no, I was just saying that we don't know that it's not flat either.
Are you speaking on behalf of me, though?
You really?
Pardon?
Are you speaking on behalf of me?
Oh no, just I suppose we as a collective we don't know. Like,
But what if the information was there, but you're not aware of it?
well, the way there's also information that suggests that actually our solar system is a vortex, that it's not so much about how there's this rotation like this,
Yeah.
but actually the sun is continuously moving, and as it's moving, the
Sorry, I'm
planets
trying
are
to get my
actually
microphone near you.
okay. The planets are actually going like this
Right.
around
Yeah.
the sun.
Yeah.
As the sun shoots, it's
Yeah.
just going in its axis.
Yeah.
So we're made to believe that the sun is this like almost position here, and we rotate around it.
Yeah.
But really, we're all moving together.
And may I ask you respectfully, how do you know that?
I was watching I was watching a YouTube video about it, and there was a gentleman, and he suggested because what it's called is
Sarah, oh,
it's called the electromagnetic field.
yeah, just like skateboards or bikes. Sorry.
So the electromagnetic field, the electromagnetic spectrum.
Yeah.
So while there is the like this, there's also the other way.
Yeah.
So they were looking at it in correlation with that.
Yes.
So
But could I ask you how can I discern if that's true or not? Because surely it's second-hand knowledge, is it not?
it is, and I know myself. That's the thing. I always understand that when it comes to what I'm learning and what you learn too, what we all learn.
Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
everything we learn is passed on through another. But it's up to the individual, to us, to then discriminate and differentiate between what we want to
Would you say
have as our
everything?
truth.
Is that
Pardon?
everything?
Everything?
What about self-knowledge?
Can you define self-knowledge?
Yeah, developing your own awareness and understanding yourself.
Well, how would you define awareness? What does it mean to be aware? Well, how do you interpret that?
Very good question. Being aware of everything internally and externally around you.
Everything. Because that's impossible to be aware of completely everything.
Well, everything within your senses.
Not your reality.
Well, I would say reality is not my reality. Oh, sorry, big pardon. I would say reality is not my reality or your reality. It's just reality.
And
What
your
is
reality
reality?
is like believing this. So that
But I don't have a belief.
What is reality, though? How do you define reality?
Here and now, in the moment.
what if you say you don't have a belief? What do you mean by that?
I don't believe in anything I can't verify for myself.
So what?
So what do you believe in?
I don't have any beliefs.
You don't have any beliefs? Do you believe that you're a human being?
No, I don't believe I'm a human being. I wouldn't classify myself as anything. But I am an entity here talking to you now, and that's a self-evident truth. And I could get the rest of the world to come past and they would agree with that self-evident truth.
Okay.
Fire's hot, water's wet. So it's not. I don't need to believe we're here. It's a self-evident truth.
Okay.
Would you agree with that?
What about the things that cannot be seen, though?
Like what? Yeah.
Well, I mean, right. The distance it is from myself to these gentlemen over here, that is empty space.
Yes.
How do we not know that there's loads of things existing between myself and these gentlemen over here that
Yeah.
we cannot see with our naked eye? And that is the thing. We are closed off from the naked eye of what we think, what we believe. It is our beliefs that conform that for ourselves, but there's so much more expanding
And our
outside of that.
we take in a certain spectrum of
Yeah.
like
If I can be clear, if I can't see it or verify it with my senses, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I put it on pending to believe it until I can verify it for myself.
Yeah.
It may very well exist. It may sound illogical, but what is not logical to me is believing that a ball can have water flowing around it. That's a physical impossibility. It goes against the physics of the behaviour of water and the physics of a ball. We cannot have water conforming to a state of any shape in nature. It doesn't matter how many times they give you the word gravity, which has never been proven. But you were told at 5 years old when you believed that Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy, as I was, to come to school and tell you live in this magical spinning ball, walking around it. Okay, and we've probably had a couple of questions, and they
Magic.
now, as a critical thinking young adult, I'm asking you, without coming back at me with a programmed response, to think for yourself: how can water conform to the exterior of a ball?
How can water
Conform to the exterior of a ball,
conform to an exterior of a ball?
yeah, and flow around it continually. And before you answer that, could you check with yourself and be honest of what you're going to say? Is it a programmed response, a belief, or is it a knowing?
Is it programmed? Is it belief? Or is it annoying?
Your answer, yeah.
It's quite difficult to be able to differentiate between which is which. Because I think in a way that we are all programmed.
Yes, we've all.
Whether we are-
Yeah, I agree. But
But it's the
some,
deconstructing of that
Yeah.
programming and then the relearning.
Yeah.
It is completely doing away with what you've learned to
Yes.
relearn. So the answer to your question is that I don't know the answer to
That's
that
it.
because I have not looked into that information.
that's very honest. Thank you.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I don't say that I know all, and none of us do, and I'm open to other
Except my dog.
opinions.
My dog knows it all.
And but yeah, I do. I respect other people's beliefs, and well, the research too, right? This is done by
Yeah.
research, and you're looking into this, and I respect that too. You went out of your way, you put the time in to look this up. I have not, as my own individual,
Yeah.
and before I can give an opinion on that, it would be amazing.
I respectfully agree with everything you said there. However, I'm just asking people what they believe in and why they believe it. I'm not saying, look, press flat, believe in it. I'm saying I'm exploring people's thinking, and I would ask, are your thoughts your own?
Are my thoughts my own?
Sorry?
is it an original thought or is it
Well, I'll come to that one. But is the thoughts that you use, are they your own thoughts? Do you think?
It's such a difficult thing. Like,
remember we talked about this?
yeah, it's. I kind of look at my thoughts as there's a stream of my conditioned thoughts that hover in and out.
Yeah.
They come without me wanting them to come. They
Yes.
just without me controlling
Yes.
them. But then I'm able to shift away from what's being flowed in.
Is it possible just to watch our thoughts without effort and watch it go again
Yeah.
without conflict?
Yeah, and I think that can come with meditation, and it comes from just an inner peace.
Yeah, inner peace, yeah.
Yeah.
So if we watch our thoughts and we just let them go without an inner conflict, because if you're fighting and suppressing them, there's going to be an inner conflict there, isn't there?
Yeah,
But I would ask you a question. It's not all thought conditioned.
It's not all thought conditioned. I look at it as everything is consciousness. Like everything is really thought. Everything in your reality came from a thought.
I'm going to love developing this with you. Okay, can I be free of thought?
Can you be completely free of thought? I don't think so, but I don't think. Why would we want to? Like the thing is we look at thoughts as these demonizing things. They can be,
Yes,
but at the same time, they are also beautiful and wonderful, and they unfold into the reality that we form through our own perception.
Are they reality though?
But it's our own personal reality, my perception of you, my viewpoint of this one whole consciousness that is this universe that we live in. I have my own perception within that.
Yeah. Can you observe me without the word?
Can I observe you without a word?
Yeah, without naming it.
Without naming you?
Anything, yeah. Can
you clarify what that, how that would entail? What would that entail?
Can I just observe without any labels or naming for what I'm looking at?
The question is, who is the observer?
Well, that's a very good question.
Doing the observing?
Oh, could you answer that question for me?
It's too big of a question. It's the thing that gets me like. This is why I love to learning.
Well, could I suggest what it is to you?
Okay.
The observer is thought. Your thoughts created the eye. It's not the other way around. People think the eye creates the thought. It doesn't. Thoughts come in and creates an image you have about yourself and creates the eye. Now, if we can be free of that, let's say I hurt you yesterday, physically or psychologically. You meet me today, you come with that hurt. You view me through past experience, past hurt. So you're not in the moment. You're actually living the past a little bit, which is dead. Right, the moment is now and alive. If we come in here with yesterday's thoughts or future worries, we're not living in the moment. Part of our brain is blocked with and destroys the present moment with these, and we won't become sensitive. Like I can be sensitive to your friend there eating your sandwich, and the two people to my right, people speaking behind me, my dog on the floor, wind in my hair, and your smile, and we're engaging with you. I can be sensitive to all that, but not if I'm deep in my worries or my past hurts. I become insensitive in the moment, and I'm not aware, I'm not alert, I'm not fully conscious. So that's why I asked you, is there a place where we can be absent of thought? And I confidently say, which I've been looking into for 30 years, of course you can be without thought, which is a state of high alertness, keenness, observational skills. Now, if you can be in that moment for a second, you can be in that moment for 2 seconds, and that can be extended. But if I can relate it to, although there's a bit of fear involved in it, sitting on the edge of an aeroplane and getting ready to jump. You know, I'm not thinking about paying my mortgage or somebody hurt me last week. I'm fully in the moment, you know. So we can extend these moments so that we always are in the moment, rather than in the past, which is dead, and the future, which is imaginary. Everything, love, happiness, contentment, understanding self is here in the present moment.
I agree with that.
Great, fantastic.
Very well worded.
Yeah. So we're taking out that present moment, we corrupt the present moment through a past hurt or a future worry. And people think to gain happiness, contentment, we have to acquire things. We have to let things go. Especially psychologically. Let the baggage go, let the heart go, let the jealousy go. And we're lighter, we're freer. To be free, we have to live in the moment, to be free of past thoughts. Sorry, I feel like I'm preaching to you. I didn't mean to go down that road.
I resonate with what you're saying.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about it, so.
See that?
But we shouldn't be preaching to people. We should be asking questions so that they can explore that themselves.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked you, can we be free of thought? And of course, thought responds by saying no. That's thought reacting. And if you get hurt, it's not you that gets hurt. It's the image you've created about yourself. You've created this image that, oh, I'm a nice person, I'm a good person. And a friend will say to you, yes, you're a good person, so you walk taller. So I come along and say, you're a bad person, and that brings you down because you have built this image about yourself. But if you don't have an image about yourself, you can't be hurt.
When you ask the question if we can be free of thought, the way my response was that everything is thought, and I just mean that literally everything, consciousness, thought, energy, vibration, it's all the same. It's all different words. It is the universe. And that's what I mean, that yes, I understand what you mean with being free of it, where we don't judge. We're not in the past. We're in our present moment. We let go of that. But it's still that thought in itself, it is all. And so what is all? Why would you want to be free from that which is all?
Fair point. You think it's all, and I don't think it's all. I think there's so much more all there that we don't discover because we're in the past or we're in the future, dead or an illusionary world.
And then how do you view the universe then?
Well, I think we are the centre of the universe. Now, I'm saying there's a whole world out there that can be free of thought. Like there's a whole world of fatherland, I believe, that have been kept from us because they make us believe we live in a spinning ball. And when I said, are your thoughts your own? Most of our thoughts are not our own. We repeat what our thoughts have been implanted through social conditioning. From 5-year-old, we get you when you're young and impressionable, naive and gullible. And why would our parents and teachers lie to us? So we believe what we're told at 5 years old. And from that conclusion at 5, we come out in the street and we argue that we live in a spinning ball. But that was formed when we were 5 years old. It's madness.
I think where we kind of are coming from on different sides of how we view it.
Sorry, could you
I
repeat
think how we're coming from different sides from how we view this thought, right? Is perhaps maybe for you maybe identify thoughts as being things that are in here, that are in our heads. But the way I see thought is, well, how do I know that my thoughts aren't coming from this guy's foot over here? How do I know it's not coming from this building over here? That's what I mean. Thoughts, we are made to believe, right? You say we're made to believe that they're in here. They feel like they are, but it's so much more expansive and wide than that.
I agree with you.
That it just goes and extends about everything.
Yes, I agree totally with that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's limited to our brain or head where we think thoughts are coming from. But then I think, we're taught that the subconscious and the consciousness is separate. I don't think it is. I think it's both ends of the same stick. And the more we become aware of ourselves, the less of the unconsciousness is hidden because we're aware of it, we see more. So perhaps the more aware we become, we can determine where our thoughts are coming from. And watch them come in and just let them go out without any bother.
Yeah.
But I would say most people, I'm going to upset a lot of people here, most people's problems stem from their own psychological thoughts.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I agree with
So that's why I ask, can we be free of thought? Then we're free of all these psychological problems.
Yeah. And emotional, physical,
Absolutely.
because it all manifests into other areas of our lives.
I couldn't agree more.
It's a circuit, like, it's incredible.
Yeah. And on intelligence, I meet a lot of people who think they're intelligent when I'm asking these questions. But I'm a scientist. At all, I'll get my coat then. That's the end of the conversation. But they may be very, very clever in their own field. But they may be an alcoholic. They may beat their wife. They may have money problems. So they maybe don't have emotional intelligence. So perhaps they don't have the whole field of intelligence. They have a wee niche of that field, a wee corner of the field where they're very intelligent. But their life's a mess and they can't sort the problems out. So I just think if you're intelligent, you'll sort out problems. You use your intelligence to sort those problems out.
I don't have any, sorry. Amazing.
To me, intelligence will be able to get on with people and sort out your problems.
Yeah.
And to question and doubt things we're being told. And I don't think we question and doubt enough. We just accept and believe because it's coming from some learned people with letters after their name.
Yeah.
But all these pictures you see of Earth and space, they're not real. They're Photoshop. If you research Robert Simon on a radio show, he's saying he creates these marvelous shots of Earth and he states they're Photoshop. And he explains how he does them. So they're no real photographs. Nobody's been to space. It's all an illusion.
They were saying whenever they sent someone first, the radiation to the spaceship would have completely just destroyed whoever was inside. So, and it was like a tiny aluminium fin,
just like satellites are. They're supposed to be able to survive up there. Yet 99% of all communications are undersea cables. So what are these satellites for if they're up there? But I don't expect you to believe me, but I'm going to state that nobody's been to space. Rockets do not go there. All they present to us is CGI images and cartoons. Now, for an inquiring mind, an intelligent mind, that's not good enough. CGI images and cartoons. We need
I wonder
more.
if you check when CGI like sprang up, if it correlates with when these images started being created.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
If you look at when CGI came to like prominence and when these images started being created, I wonder if there's some sort of correlation with that. Like if you could see.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think this flat Earth society was growing really big before World War II, and that's when NASA started, 1958. They give us CGI images and paintings of a ball Earth, and then we live in a ball Earth. That's it.
Can I ask you a question? Do you believe in aliens?
I don't have any beliefs, remember.
Oh, yes, that's right. Of course. That's at the very beginning of this conversation, wasn't it?
I used to think there must be different species out there, and I used to be a strong atheist, but then I think we must be honest with ourselves first. If we're looking for truth, we must start honesty. So I cannot prove God didn't exist, and I cannot prove He does exist. So if I'm being honest with myself, I have to say I don't know. So I'm agnostic. But I have a million people down that side of the street will tell me God exists. A million people down there tell me He doesn't exist. And if they're all being honest with themselves, they'd have to say they don't know.
Do you want about
Technically, we're
astrology?
all agnostic then,
Yes, exactly. Well, if we're being honest and truthful, we are.
because we can't prove or disprove anything to do with like God.
I quite agree with you, yeah. But isn't it empowering to say I don't know? Because then my mind starts asking questions. If I start from conclusions, I know.
If
Then
you're stuck in this stagnant state of like, no, this is my belief, you're never going to be able to open the avenues to other thought as well.
absolutely, yeah, I quite agree with you. But it's wonderfully empowering to say I don't know. So then I'm going to start inquiring. If I start from a conclusion, my brain gets dumbed down and stops working.
I noticed
because I
that
know.
lady before us that you were talking to was quite like frustrated. So was she going along the scientific?
Well, she's believed everything she's been told by the scientific world, but she wouldn't let me speak. So she wanted to talk over me.
Were you asking the same sort of questions that you've been asking?
No. I just wanted to ask for proof of her beliefs and establish that what she has is a belief. She doesn't have any evidence for that. Now, there's been 5 scientific experiments done that she perhaps doesn't know about, and most scientists don't know about. Historical scientific experiments that prove the Earth doesn't move by mainstream science. But most
See, I'm coming from like an environmental scientific background, so that's what I've been learning as well.
So you're aware of the 60,000 scientists suing the government for the fraud of climate change?
Sorry, what was that? What did you say?
I'm dyslexic, I'm terrible. It's either 30,000 or 60,000 scientists are suing the government for the fraud of climate change.
Wow.
Did you know about them? So here we have scientists on both sides of the argument.
But you know what, I did hear, maybe a wee bit offhand, but I've heard that apparently the likes of this kind of like political, but you know, when it comes to these leaders around the world, that there's a lot of there's warrants out for their arrest, like
Yes.
the Clintons, for example. There's people who are like after them to arrest them.
And do you know what that's for?
What it's for?
Drug running and money laundering. Never mind all the sexual crimes.
Well, yeah, I was going to say. I mean, there's other. I mean, paedophilia and all the
sexual,
other horrible things.
Sexual
they
crimes
do,
is quite light compared to what he's been alleged with, but mostly it's to do with money laundering and drug running.
Yeah.
Never mind that.
The things they've done is sinister and
It is
it's
sinister.
disgraceful. Things I've read up, like.
So why do you know about that, and why do you think the people here don't know about it?
Why do I know?
Why do you think so many people don't know about that?
I think so many people don't want to face stuff like that. It's too much. It's I'll give you a good example, right?
Is this facing
Syria and everything that's going on. Of course, war. We look at our phones, right, and we see the destruction, the chaos that's going on our phones, and we look at that and we think that's horrible. That is horrible. But you know what? Phone goes away, detached.
X Factor's on.
We know you detach from it. There's a disassociation, but if I was to go to Syria and transport myself there and see what was going on there, that would change me completely. And then I would be like, do you know what? No, F
Gonna
this.
do something
We need
about
to
it.
do something about this. But the thing is because we're all so much detached and we just want to live our lives.
But I
We just
also
want to
think
live
it's like
our
we feel
lives.
powerless.
We
Like,
do.
one individual is not going to be able to make a change, so what's the point? Like, if I looked at it, I'd be like, that is a problem that's out of my hands. How am I possibly going to do anything?
Well. I sat out on my own in the street. Now there's 3. Sometimes there's 30 of us. So look at the women's movement. It started small until the women won the vote. Every small,
It always starts with the minority.
every social change group starts from a small group that affects social change.
And there's so much pushback against it.
Yes,
And then until it gains momentum.
Yeah, what's the phrase? It's truth is first ridiculed and laughed at, but eventually it becomes accepted as
When it's
self-evident
popular,
truth.
when it's more
Yes.
people behind
Yeah,
it, then
yeah.
it's a similar thing, you know, with music
Yeah,
and everything nowadays. Like, the more popular it is,
Yeah.
then people are more like, oh, I want that, I'll get that.
Absolutely.
Um,
If I could just reference a documentary for everybody to watch called the Clinton Chronicles.
Clinton Chronicles.
It shows you everything the Clintons got up to, and at the end of it, in the titles, it shows you all the people found dead associated with the Clintons, shot in the head and so forth.
It's crazy how that's all connected with the wars and things that's going on around the
Well,
globe.
Have you ever
Isn't
read
it?
The Truth or The
Yes.
Shock Doctrine?
The what?
Shock Doctrine.
No.
It's a good book.
All
You should
right.
read it. It's about like how in Iraq they took advantage of that trauma the state of trauma that everyone was in, and
Yeah.
they went in and they've taken advantage of all of the war zones, so built the big businesses
Yeah,
there and
yeah.
all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's called the
It's shocking, isn't it? Yeah.
Shock Doctrine.
Did you hear about the whistleblower for the UN peacekeeping groups? You know, the blue helmets that go in to the war-torn areas. And
Who was the whistleblower?
Catherine somebody. Oh, there's a film and a book about it, but she's a whistleblower about child trafficking and human trafficking from all the orphans that are created. Yeah.
You know, I'm going to Arkansas.
She doesn't escape us.
I'm going to be going to Arkansas, and that's where the
Yeah.
Clintons are
Yeah.
from.
You used to drop the drugs in there from the aircraft that landed in Arkansas.
What was that you said about?
That's where the CIA dropped the drugs into America in Arkansas, where he was the governor, under his orders. Yeah. So I'm going to mingle and mix with other people.
Yeah, what's your name even?
Harry,
Harry. Nice
can
to
I
meet
just
you.
say it's been lovely talking to you both.
So
Th-
you also.
Thank you so much for stopping by. And, this is live on YouTube.
Is it right now?
Yes.
I have a YouTube channel too.
Oh no, I can't tell you. I can't possibly tell you that. There you go. That's my YouTube channel.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Is that you skydiving?
This
Where are
is.
you? Oh,
It says John on here.
Beg your pardon?
It says John on here.
Yeah, that was my alias name that I started out with because I didn't want to be known, but I am now. Yeah. And people say, that's not your real name. Of course it's not my real name.
Right, okay.
Where are you from Scotland?
Yeah, Edinburgh. But we're going on a 50-day tour around the UK. We've just done Ireland. So we're going up to Scotland and back down to England and Wales. So it's 50 days doing this. We're passionate about it. And we want people, and that's to expose for lying to it. Lying to me as a child. But,
Can I ask you a quick question,
Yeah.
John? When's your birthday?
5-5.
The 5th of May.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of reading into zodiac signs?
I'm an astrologer.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
So you were saying about beliefs and things.
But no, I actually did that once. I bought a book actually, and it calculated out numbers, and I was giving people readings just experiment, and they all said how accurate it was. There's some personal information there, so maybe there's something in it then. When's your birthday?
8th of February.
Well, just like to thank you both.
Yeah.
We got off topic quite a lot, but
Yeah.
I hope people in the chat don't mind. But thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Right, and enjoy your day.
See you, bye.
I'm sorry to everybody in the chat because I got off topic completely there. If I'm spinning around, it's because my dog entangles me with her leads.
73, I think it was, and he got a PhD in sociology.
Thanks very much. Yeah, my passion overran there. I'm back on point.
We're getting all specialized support favors. I can like
I'm not talking about. I mean, how is it? You are able to even to write off the flat. Not I do believe that nothing came from.
We've got to find him first, Jason. That's a good man himself.
Hello,
Just want to know who you're talking to. Coffee.
Not my guitar, just talk to me guitar. I'm sick of all these flat earthers to do me head in.
Yeah, well, sure it would be because I mean, they try to keep it
I want you to
you're more evangelical.
I want you to use natural sciences to work out where you are.
But where is it you stop? I mean, like the thing is, like, so I see a lot of people here in agreement that you think the world's flat, but even within all you all have disagreements. So like, you don't necessarily have an alternative. Like, you don't have necessarily. Some people believe that it's inverted. Other people believe that it's inside a sphere. So I mean, like,
with all due respect, it's not about what I believe.
Like thousands of years of science, but then not even have your own alternative answer.
Let me put this here.
I need an answer.
Let me put
I mean, like,
let me put this
you have to have something to build on.
You shouldn't ever concern yourself with what another person believes. I want you to work
You're
out what
effectively you're feeding people fear. You're feeding them that everything you believe is actually real. It's effectively is true. You're telling them that their government's lying to them. You're telling them NASA's lying to them. You're telling them that going back to Galileo that he's a liar, and the fact that he had to prove himself.
I'm not.
But it is.
Listen,
I just feel like
I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you anything.
Until you have actually conclusive evidence, it's something you shouldn't be out here spreading to people. Like,
okay. So listen.
I think that's wrong. So please do.
Why do you genuinely believe we are here today? It is literally never.
Right, so like, that's it. It's not like you're giving an answer.
Why do you
You're
genuinely
giving us a question. Effectively, you're giving us a question, making us question what we
Can I
believe.
ask you?
Is that so terrible?
Effectively,
Is that
like,
terrible? Because you're saying I've got no right to be here.
We're all loving men and we're loving people. Why do you think we're here today? What do you think on those?
Right, so personally, what I think is you're trying to put forward something that you don't necessarily have the answers to.
Why? What would we gain from that?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Why would you do
So
that?
you're right to think that.
But you don't have the answers, but you're still trying to spread them.
I thought it was a free country, though.
Why must we
They're
have
trying to.
What did I? What did I?
What is
They're
your
showing the holes.
Oh, let just one
They're showing
person.
the
talk.
holes in the model that claims to have.
They don't believe
Listen. They're showing the holes in a model that claims to have the answers.
It's very important.
They're not claiming that they have the answers.
But I'm not necessarily saying that I fully believe that, but I might have an offshoot random thought. I don't come out here and start trying to make people believe
It's not an offshoot,
But
they're random.
They have massive bans.
They have lots
It's not a
of
free country, sir.
Sorry?
It's not a free country.
I've not
Free
questioned
speech.
your freedoms at all, but
No, you said it was
but
wrong.
this is part of free speech. So
But you
this
said it
is
was wrong.
part-
You said it was wrong.
I
It's the
think
only
that
free.
to push an alternative that
Push.
makes you question everything that you've been
We're
brought
not
up
pushing
on.
it. You stopped by. I didn't force you to stop by.
They are pushing it. It's within.
No,
okay.
we're not pushing it.
So you want to come down to more like the basics of freedom of speech. Now we're speaking about this.
Yes.
About pushing.
You have the right to walk on by or stop.
So do you believe the world's flat or inverted or within a sphere? Then
If you answer my question first, which I asked you.
What's that?
You're free to walk on by or stop.
Of course,
let
you're
me
free
finish
to
that.
put
No, you're not
banners
letting
up.
me finish.
You obviously want to engage in
You're
a
not letting me
conversation,
finish.
but as soon as someone questions
But you're not
you say you're
letting me
free to
finish.
walk away.
You're not letting me finish. In a free democratic society,
I'm
you're
not questioning
you're not allowed.
democracy here.
Are
I'm
you going to let me
questioning the
finish?
fact that you're pushing a flat out.
Is there something wrong with you? Is there something wrong with you? You can't let someone finish speaking when they're speaking to you. Why do you not let someone finish?
I've been having a nice conversation with this guy prior to you putting a camera on my face.
You haven't let anybody finish.
Okay,
That's not true.
I'll put the camera down. I'll put the camera down. Why can you not let someone finish? Because you're not used to listen to a different opinion.
Different opinions all the time.
So why don't you let me finish speaking to you first?
I'm trying. I actually do as well. Please do, yeah.
Yeah, right then. In a free democratic world, I have the right to stand here and display anything as long as I'm not offending anybody personally. And you have no right to say that we shouldn't do that or to say we're wrong. In a free democratic society, everybody has the right to freedom to express themselves. So you cannot stop here and say, people, you cannot do that, that's wrong. You're wrong to say that to anybody.
That's like a matter. Like,
you're a dictator. You're trying to be a dictator. Who are you to dictate to what other people should do and should not do?
Right. So if I can now come back in, my point is that you don't actually have an alternative that is proved. So all you're doing effectively by saying effectively what you're doing here, right, is saying everything you've been told is a lie. And there's a lot of people that have enough problems as it is.
I did not say
rather
everything.
than have to worry about the foundations.
Don't misquote us. We never said everything. No, you're misquoting us. You're appealing to the audience, misquoting us.
I'm sure you're
not on there. You're misquoting us, appealing to the audience.
About the reality of being presented with and whether it matches up. That's all we want people to do. But he's saying that we're saying something different. I've already said to him that I want him to go out, critically think about the reality he's been presented with. If it matches up, fine. If it doesn't, search a bit deeper.
And I find when people interrupt people and talk over them, there's an agenda behind it. If you're not mature and intelligent enough to be able to have a conversation, listen to something you don't agree with, and then respond, then I feel you have an agenda.
Well, on that, you weren't actually party to the conversation I had with himself.
Wasn't really a conversation.
You would change your. To be honest, this conversation's already died.
You said we were wrong what we're doing. That's why I intervened.
You jumped in because you quite obviously love this part of a debate, or if you want to call it. That's all I was saying was there's a lot of people who don't necessarily have an alternative, and you're telling them to question the foundations of everything that they know. Where does the conspiracy end? What
conspiracy?
You're saying, right, you're saying NASA's a lie. There's a poster down there saying that there's a green screen when in space. Now, I'm not, maybe that is the case, right? But at what point, right, are you saying Galileo's wrong whenever he put forward that the Earth is heliocentric? Is that a lie then?
Can I answer that?
Is it a lie? That's what I'm saying.
Okay, are you aware of the 5 scientific experiments last century that proved that the Earth does not move?
The Earth doesn't move at all.
Mainstream science, peer-reviewed science. Now you're quoting somebody 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago who sticks to the ground. I'm quoting you 5 scientific experiments. If you want to Google them, they went out to measure the movement of the Earth to prove that it was moving, but they had to conclude the Earth does not move. Did you know about those?
So we're heliocentric then?
No,
we're geocentric. You're saying that the everything that we observe above us
is actually. Did you know about those scientific experiments?
No, I haven't. But then again, you're then saying that all other scientists are discredited, so you cherry-pick the scientists that suit your...
No, it's you cherry-picked. You chose the one. And I'm saying, well, what about the scientists who proved the Earth doesn't move?
Well, I will go read about them, but that doesn't necessarily discredit. Well, you don't have to quote them if you
want. I'm not saying discredit. I'm just saying.
So you don't believe in the Coriolis effect?
I'm just saying you didn't have an informed opinion. You only took one side of the argument. You weren't aware of other scientific experiments that proved the opposite.
So you don't believe in the Coriolis effect?
Like we have the global warming, right?
So
I'll answer that.
That's not actually the argument.
I know. I'm giving an example of scientists getting it wrong. We have global warming issue where we have scientists on both sides of the argument saying that we're contributing to climate change. Some say we're not, and some say that they're being fraudulent by misconstruing the data. So there we have. There we have scientists.
Do you think global warming?
Yeah, 2 seconds to finish it. Yeah, I'll answer that. So we have scientists on both sides. So therefore, some scientists have it wrong, have they?
Well, of course, it depends who's paying them.
Yeah, well, exactly. I agree with you 100% there.
Uh-huh.
So how do you know who's paying the people 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, said that we lived on a globe?
Well, I mean, Galileo was put under house arrest.
He was, yes.
Yeah, and he was almost killed by the Catholic Church, who at that point believed the world was flat, and gave the true age of the world to be like 6,000 years old, or roughly around.
Yeah. When he was on his literally last few breaths, he said, he was like, "Fuck it, I was right. It was a globe." And then he
I'm not. Well, I mean, I think it was then.
You knew he was going to die anyway.
Someone then later on found the same science to back up, which now you would discredit. That's my point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, where's it the conspiracy starts and finishes? Who is it that benefits from the world being one way?
With all due respect,
That's what I was going to ask. Like, why would you make up that it's a globe?
okay,
It
but
doesn't make sense.
with all due respect, you keep saying conspiracy theory, but that belittles the person's argument. You call
But I
it
mean, my definition of conspiracy is anything that goes against what is considered the mainstream point of view, like, which is effectively what is. I mean, you're saying that Tim Peake's behind a green screen. Maybe you didn't write that personally.
I would say the conspiracy is what we're being told, not what I'm presenting to you. All I'm doing is asking questions and asking for proof of what I'm being told.
Yeah.
When you were 5 years old, as I was, I presume, you believed in Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy. We're taken into a classroom and we're told
100% you're indoctrinated,
Yeah, okay, we agree that. It was a good starting point where we agree that we're indoctrinated to believe in this globe model. When we're naive, gullible, impressionable, why would our parents and teachers lie to us?
Yeah.
Now, as an adult, I'm asking you to answer me honestly. This question, answer me honestly, and be honest if it's a program response or a. How can water conform to the exterior of a ball?
Okay, I can understand, but no, I do understand. Like, I do. Like, I mean, that does define many things.
Well, thanks for being.
The other thing as well is you can't actually observe because there's no water on any other sphere that we can observe. It's quite hard to. The thing you never see it upside down. Okay.
Those are both
Like, that one's one clear. I mean, like, I've never witnessed that. I've never.
Let's say we try.
Who is it on the alternative side? Then I would consider not conspiracy, but alternative. Like, is there anyone which is genuinely trying to, like, put a massive camera there and observe these things?
Well, are you open-minded to the possibility that what you think the heliocentric model may not be true? Yeah. Okay. I'm open that I might be wrong. And I've already admitted that once because now I was wrong to believe before. Now, if you and I went to the space station now, pull back to the International Space Station, observable natural science, looking back at the Earth with the power of the telescope, we would have to see planes at every conceivable angle on that ball, would we not?
And also, like, well, I mean, actually, the technology now is actually around that we could 3D map the world and actually observe it within. I mean, it would be inward looking.
With wide-angle lenses as well.
It can be done, so it should have been done.
Yeah, okay, can I ask you, why has that not been done?
Yeah, but then
is that a reasonable question?
Well, I think that was one that we came to together.
Sorry?
I think that's the question we came to together.
Yeah. So is that a reasonable question, did you say?
Well, no, but I mean, here's the thing, there's other parts. So I've just had a gentleman say that the Coriolis effect is a lie.
Well, the thing is, we're told it's there and it's a real thing.
Do you feel like maybe that there's been a pinnacle in your understanding which has made you question everything to the point that even things...
Sorry, say that again?
Do you maybe sometimes feel like there's maybe been a pinnacle in what you thought the world was like and it made you not believe anything for a while and now you're slowly building up your beliefs again?
Yeah, well, first I say I don't have any beliefs, but from a young child, I never believed in that we came from a rock of evolution, and I never believed in God either. Both creation and evolution never really did it for me, but I didn't know. So I was honest with myself, saying I don't know. And when it comes to things like God, I have to be honest and say I don't know. I can't prove it either way. So I want to remain honest with myself. So I don't have any beliefs unless I can verify it for myself.
It's just like it's the sign of an intelligent man that can hold two contradicting thoughts at the same time.
Yeah, I would also say two different opinions as well, and listen to them.
Truth be told, I was speaking to these two guys totally calm, and then like it got quite emotional.
Yeah, I accept that.
You're Scottish like me. Like I understand that that's why you stood in because you're good at arguing.
Yeah, but unbelievably,
I have nothing against democracy whatsoever.
Okay, can I shake your hand? Unbelievably so. I just want to be friends. Right? I'm not your enemy.
Yeah,
I don't want to upset you. I don't want to.
Defending your boys, like as I would mind.
Beg pardon?
You're defending who you're here with. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you
It's just
should
when I
do.
heard you said we should be allowed to do that. That's what triggered me a wee
Oh
bit.
no, okay, right. I think that 100% you can.
Oh, good,
What
good.
I would say is, 100%. Like, I mean, I have demonstrations quite often. Like, but
What do you demonstrate over?
well, people before profit, so they're usually to do with like Palestine or like usually like I'm a left winger in a lot of ways, right? But I'm not so on camera now. You're a bastard. You're recording all that. But like my issue, right, is not that you are making people ask the question. My point is those like what I think could be quite dangerous is to make someone suddenly like disbelieve everything they've ever been told, but not actually give an alternative. Now, I understand that not everyone's obviously in the place where, like, I mean, I don't know the demographics of people that believe this, or should I say, don't believe the mainstream, because as I was saying, a lot of people will disbelieve a sphere, okay, but don't necessarily have the same, like, to use both are in total agreement about what the alternative to what we've been taught is.
I don't know what the conversation's been up to now. An alternative isn't always necessary. You haven't got the answer.
Well, I guess like that is okay, 100%, because like you'd rather not believe anything than believe a lie, okay?
If a court of law exonerated somebody because they've been accused of murder and they've been exonerated, it's nobody's burden of proof to prove, well, who did it then? You, well, who did do it? You can't answer. If we don't know the answer, let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
And wait for further.
Yeah, and if I can say, and I'll take responsibility for the heading there. It is provocative, and it is maybe a wee bit condescending as well, by implying to people you've been lied to. You don't know what you believe. But it was originally done to entice people in, whether negatively or positively.
Yeah, well, I mean, whether you like it or not, is that you're up against the majority.
Yeah, absolutely. But then every small social group to affect social change, like you're trying to do in Palestine, starts small.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not like BDS movement or anything like that. I just mean like I just wherever there's.
You're trying to help.
Yeah, well, I think
people.
I think there should be equality. So, well, this is a contradiction
So
there
do
as
I.
well. Like,
now, just one point, I must say, Palestine could do with a lot more money to help it.
I think they could be allowed to at least own concrete to build a house again.
Yeah,
I think that would be a good starting point.
Yes.
But I mean, it's not that I'm sitting here that's anti-Israeli or like once it. I accept the fact that there's second, third degree Israelis now living within there who have never known anything else. So on that argument, it doesn't matter if you go back to 1947, regardless of how something's created, it now exists, and that is what it is, and that in itself is not necessarily a fair way of looking at it.
But the real thing is that you're looking at people in need, and you're trying to help them. Aren't you?
So that's how you feel about that. You see a lot of people that are being, they only eat what they're fed rather than trying to find their own food.
But that's part of the reason why it makes me angry is that let's just say I'm right. You think I'm wrong, but let's just say hypothetically that I'm right. NASA gets $52 million a day and have done since the 1960s. I believe they get that because due to presenting us with cartoons and CGI images. Then I look at causes that you're fighting for, and I think people dying in Africa, social services stretched. That makes me angry that they're taking taxpayers' money, and it could be better utilised.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, I mean, that's a completely different conversation. I guess this is one of those things where if you're this way inclined to think, which is to question everything, like I'm sure there's a lot of other things that you probably wouldn't want to say yourself that you believe in front of a camera.
I would say everything on camera. I'm not embarrassed to say.
Yeah, well, I know, I know, I understand, but
I like to be honest as well and have an integrity too.
So my thing ultimately is the fact that like when you're in a position that you are, whenever like you are in a position to, I realise this has caught a lot more steam recently. I mean, there's people like Joe. Like I don't necessarily listen to Joe Rogan, but ever since, like, you could have talked about yoga to someone before Joe Rogan talked about it, and they would have called you a pansy. But once he talked about it, they were suddenly pulling like chakra moves in front of you. Like, so, like, there you go. So,
social conditioning,
right? So it's not a bad thing, right? If they only want to hear what everyone has to say from one person. But I ask my grievance is, if there's not an alternative, there's a lot of people. I mean, even especially here, this is a very religious kind of backwards place where these people, like, that is in essence what they are. They are stout Catholic or Protestant. Their belief system is what it is. The contradiction being that their own beliefs used to tell them that the world was flat. Now they believe that the world is a sphere, but like once you start to take away these things, people start to lose hope because they feel like they've always been lied to. And like regardless of what might actually be the real explanation to all this, like I'd rather that people lived a happy, content life with the family they loved, rather than sometimes, as they said, ignorance is bliss. Sometimes when I've been more aware of situations, I've been less happy than I did in all of them, and that is just the honest truth.
Yeah.
There's an element of truth in that.
I think that's different for me though, but
And
I respect that for you. Yeah. Anyway, what's your name again?
My name's Mark, and I will leave you because I want to go and have.
Okay, I have to go and mingle. So, thank you very much for your time, Mark.
Yeah, and I wasn't trying to have a wee.
No. I totally respect it, man. Thank you.
Cheerio.
Yeah, you came very polite and dignified after initially getting.
It was clearly not. It's a bit confrontational, but yeah, nice chat.
He's a nice chap. I just got triggered when he was saying we shouldn't be doing this. It's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, a democratic society. You're right.
He may have been going round to that towards me, but then he felt a bit outnumbered, and he got a bit. But yeah, I'm glad he stayed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we can reach a point where we respect each other's differences. Oh, great! Thank you very much. What's your name, by the way?
James.
James. I'm Harry. Nice to meet you. Do you live in Northern Ireland?
Yeah, I live near Belfast.
Okay. Is it okay if I use this camera as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So, were you born in Belfast?
No, Lurgan.
Lurgan. Oh, right.
So about 30 minutes away.
And what do you think of Belfast?
It's good. I like Belfast.
Yeah. Can I just say that we've only been here 4 or 5 days. We came to Belfast, went down to Dublin, did this in Dublin, Cork, Galway and Limerick, and now here. Amazed by the Irish people, openness and friendliness. We've been made to be really friendly. Even the people who are not on board with Flat Earth, just been given time to talk about it, which is great.
Lurgan, yeah. Well, I was just going to ask, basically, what would the thing that gets me the most is what would be the motivation to pretend to us that it is a ball instead of flat? It doesn't make sense. Is there a monetary gain, or what is the gain?
Yeah, sorry, you did ask that earlier, and I got sidetracked there. I don't tend to go into that but I will do. It's really theoretical role I have to go into because I can't prove it.
Yeah.
However, NASA get $52 million a day and have done since 1960s.
See, I was thinking about that too, and then is that much like compared with the whole planet? Like it doesn't seem like a huge. I know it's a lot of money, but 52 million a day, like it doesn't seem like a huge.
Since the 1960s.
But having to get everyone to agree on this ruse for us to believe, like, it wouldn't seem like a huge.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's the main motive, but that's just an example of what they get to present us with CGI and cartoons.
Yeah.
But let's just say that drain there on the ground. Let's say that was the whole of the Earth.
Yeah.
And we thought everything outside of that was space.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It's further land. What would you think of that?
So, if it's bigger than we think,
yeah, far bigger.
But there could be other stuff. That what you mean that we don't know. So we're kind of like in the Truman Show. You've seen a smaller or a bigger version of that. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about Truman Show or
you know what I mean? Roughly something like that.
But we're certainly. I think we're contained on a small piece of land compared to what the land is out there.
Yeah.
And people have claimed to have seen that land.
What happens?
And the boundaries that keep us in.
What happens at the edges then?
Well, this is it. If you go on a large lake where you can't see the other side, you know that lake's not going over an edge, don't you? You know that lake's contained.
Yeah.
So if you think of that flat Earth extended, it's contained by boundaries and by land.
But does our basically all our understanding of science not kind of based or related on the fact that like all the stuff like gravity and all that sort of stuff? Would that not all be? Would science not just crumble if that was all not true? Or?
Yeah, well, I'm not knocking all science. I'm into natural science, but I would have to ask. They claim gravity is a factual thing, so I'm just asking questions. Our science should be open to being questioned, challenged, and it should be demonstrable, repeatable, and measurable. So I'm saying, well, please prove to me that gravity can hold water to a ball, because all my natural observations tell me that water always lies to its lowest point and lies level.
But well, what about if you have like like one of those vacuums for like space?
Yeah.
The training ones. If you put water in it, it goes into a ball though, doesn't it? You know those
Well,
anti-gravity.
I don't know. I've never been there, but they show me that on the screen, which you can
it
fake.
seems like it does.
Yeah, you could fake it, but Hollywood showed the film Gravity looked more real than NASA showed me.
But see, the motivation. One of them was the money thing. Even if the world was flat, you could still go to space. They could still make money. You could still explore whatever is there.
Yeah, that's if space exists. I mean, are you making that claim that space exists?
Well, I'm saying if we were flat, right, there'd be nothing to stop NASA still getting 52 million a day for exploring what's above or below.
True.
If
Yeah,
that was
true. But they're pretending to go to space to present to us images which are being presented as factual, when all those images are not even photographs; they're Photoshop.
Yeah.
So they're there.
I know, but you can't prove they're Photoshop either, though.
NASA has an art department.
Yeah, well, they're bound to have. Like, do you not think they would have?
Tell me, have you ever been to Derry Trasnot? I'm sure you
Yeah.
have. Have you looked across the Loch Ness?
Yeah.
And you see in the distance, you see Cookstown?
I know Loch Ness, but I'm not sure about that. But I'm sure you can.
And from Cookstown, you can actually see the main. Is it St Mark's in the middle of the?
I can't remember.
You remember the main church? You can actually see that from Cookstown.
Yeah.
Flat. And we're talking 12 miles there.
I know, but 12 miles. When you think of how big is the world supposed to be?
Okay, so how high do we have to get before we start seeing the curve? How high do we need to get before we start seeing the curve?
I mean, well, look, what about like if you go into space at one point, right, and you get a picture, like that picture there, right, of the Earth. How come you can go to another place, maybe a quarter of the way around the Earth, go up, take another picture? You can't say they're both flat because they're both different.
You know that's artwork.
I know, but you know what I mean. The photographs, the space of the.
Is NASA not doing something in a bit more classier style?
But they would have made mistakes by now.
Well, they have.
There's
There's millions of mistakes. You can see them. The train in an underwater pool. They're not in space, because you can see bubbles coming out of the helmet. You can see them.
The train in the pool.
Well, you can see them.
It's high altitude pictures of the Earth at night with the lights, and they have so many lights in the Highlands of Scotland. I mean, there's no cities or villages. So there's that mistake. That's from NASA. Did you ever see that one? Did you?
Yeah, they're fake. Look at size of America in 2012 compared to 2013. They can't both be right. But the guy who creates that is called Robert Simon, and he admits they're not photographs, they're Photoshop.
But surely for NASA.
Yeah, they're a digital visualizer.
But do you not think that would be really like? Do you not think they're going to check that, make a better effort? Like that's a horrendous mistake.
Can I ask you if you checked that though?
Oh,
no, well, most people don't. They know that. They're more interested in watching X Factor.
Well, I'm not a scientist, so I can't say anything. I'm just asking.
But there's so much fakery. I could give you millions of stuff to show you how NASA are faking everything. They use fisheye lenses to make that look curved. They don't use normal cameras. There's no real pictures of Earth from space. You go up to
What about the moon? Just because it says moon, is the moon real or is it flat?
I don't know. You know as much as I do. I see a light in the sky. That's all I know.
We don't have any
Well, it's there.
Is it solid? I don't know. They tell us it
It's
is.
a membrane.
But the photo, isn't the rover on it and all that stuff? Photographs.
Photographs aren't real though. They're images, as Robert Simmons tells you. They're images. And
it seems like an awful lot of effort.
It's not really. It's not really. Nobody's gone to space, so they haven't had that cost to build all that equipment.
How do you know they haven't went?
Because you research NASA's pictures of a visor in space, and you'll see in the visor a reflection of a cameraman with a frog suit on.
That could be fake. That could be someone.
It could be. It could be. Yes. And that's why you have to research and cross-reference things. Nobody.
I don't know if there's a strong enough agenda for it. In my opinion.
Well, but you admitted you've not really researched it yourself. You know?
And it stops falling when it's
Like I listen to stuff, so I have listened to a rough version of it, but
see nobody in space or on the moon has ever taken a camera and turned 360. The same reason Coronation Street wouldn't do it. Fourth wall, studio, cameras, director. That's the first thing you do to the moon. You go,
they could just create. If that was the case, they could create a moon room and just
that we can
have
go
a
and get.
stick and just
But they never even thought of doing it. They never even thought of doing it. That's how NASA come up with so many mistakes and anomalies.
What would you say if someone if someone came and just proved it? Would you just down to it to go fair enough?
Absolutely, yeah. We already did
Well, I'm
it.
glad to hear that because
Would
well,
you?
it makes sense. You have to
Would you though?
What?
Would you do the same?
If someone proved it was flat? Well, yeah, it would have to because they're scientists, so I would say, all right, it's proved.
Okay, can I give you? I know this is a photograph. You can do this yourself. The world's longest photograph.
What's this?
273-mile photograph of this horizon.
Yeah.
Now, according to the trigonometry of the curvature of the Earth, that should be 3 miles below the curvature of the Earth. You shouldn't be able to see it.
This could be on like a mountain or something. First told you. Could that be? Like the photo could be taken from an elevated point, but that negate the 3 miles.
Yeah.
Or sea level. No. I don't know.
But you can do that yourself. Do primary observation. We can do our own experiments and see things we shouldn't be able to see. Look at that ridiculous curve. It's a fisheye lens they use. You just have to see amateur balloons. It's completely flat, 360.
Makes no sense, they say we're spinning
Well,
around.
thanks.
Right, thank you very much for being so reasonable in the conversation. Right, thank you very much.
One day you wake up, see that earth ain't no wall, and you look in the distance and see there's no curve at all. I said try not to worry, as it's us all who've been good. We've been around it and around since every word. That's our moving. Yeah. Spaceman said, look, we're floating here. I said, I don't think so, dude. I see wires everywhere. You gotta watch your back, these come and lie to you. How can they go Mars when they can't even go the moon? So if one day you wake up, see that Earth ain't no ball, and you look in the distance, no curve at all. I said try not to worry, as it's us all who've been fooled. They've been ramming it down our throats since the first day we were schooled. Earth's not moving. Earth's not moving. Yeah. Earth's not moving.
And if
Going back to the textbooks, what we first told you, gotta take another look at it, cause it doesn't move.
Well played, sir.
Thank you, Harry.
Tara?
Getting lots of love for Tara.
the best thing about this place is the door.
Your parts install this, or we can just throw for the flowers. Yeah. Okay. So my channel will do the same. If they need to do that, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
My point is, what's happening?
Well, again, it's
People, do you mind if I film you?
yeah, no, fine.
Okay.
Oh, it matters a lot, doesn't it? Like I just mentioned to you, like, first of all, people are lying to you. NASA's taking $52 million a day. Now, I think that's criminal. Do you not think if somebody's lying and taking money for the lies that that's criminal? I know that's to be true, so I think that's criminal. I also think it's wrong to lie to children. I class it as child abuse. If you're telling a child that there is no up or down,
What do we tell your child to think for himself or herself?
that's exactly what I'm doing. That's the reason why I'm out here today, sir. The reason why I'm out here today is I want people to critically think for themselves, hopefully use the natural sciences, yeah, and just work out if the reality is
Still streaming? I want to see who's in there.
If it does, then you quite happy if you can listen on board. If it doesn't match up, then you
It doesn't stay on for very long.
It fades out.
it might change. it might change the way you think. It mattered to me. My life changed massively.
So it's early, it'd be
Yeah.
mostly people in the
Would you like to say something?
What should I say?
How's today been for you? How's today been for you?
Well, actually, Harry, I've had a migraine.
Oh no, are we?
But I didn't want to say that.
Have we encouraged you out and not at your best?
I'm surviving the migraine. No, it's a really nice. It's a nice crowd of people in Belfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really philosophical. The people I've spoken to.
Yeah.
They're thinking about why they know things and what is faith.
I got involved in a deep philosophical conversation there, but got a bit sidetracked. But
Very deep they go.
yeah, well, I'm all about following the conversation rather than trying to steer it. You know, and just go with it. And,
Yeah,
that
you
was a
do
lovely
pretty good in
conversation.
these interviews. I always listen to them. I just wanted to say to that man because he said, "I'm questioning why you're here," and I wanted to say one thing to him, but then you were talking, so I did. Like, doesn't he believe in questioning everything?
Yeah,
Even his beliefs.
I got a bit triggered when he said we shouldn't be doing this. We're not allowed.
Exactly. So, what does he want you to be doing?
Yeah, I thought we lived in.
What's his alternative?
Yeah, I mean, are we not allowed to expose a lie without coming up with an alternative? Are we not allowed to expose a lie without needing to come up with an alternative?
I know. Yeah. I don't know. There's a method of approaching the activism. You have to kind of go with what's on their mind. I think that's what I'm finding in these days.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I think you have to. They're always asking you that they put their logic before their grammar, and they say, "What is the motive and why would they do this?" So what I do is I wait till they ask why they would do this, and when they ask that, you know what's important to them, because then they will say something important in their life that has gone wrong, or they're trying to connect it to the problems of the world. And if you let them go with the why they would do it, then you can get into the details. Like before, I was just showing them the curvature maths right away, and I don't know. I'm just altering my way of approaching.
Yes, I think we should always do that. But I think if we're really interested in other people and how they think, we should be talking more about them rather than telling them. And I think if we can ask them questions to explore their own mind.
Yeah, Socratic method. That's what I wanted to say to that man. Like, don't you believe in questioning everything? Like I think maybe we should say it right here. I think I disagree with you on the gravity question, and I'm getting a lot of flack for it.
How dare you? How dare you disagree?
I'm a heretic.
What's the point you're disagreeing?
I believe that I think a few people are on my track, and it's a very, very sticky area. It's a very difficult question.
No, I'm interested.
What is gravity?
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of flat earthers, they have such chip on their shoulder against the system, rightly so, about scientism, and so they just gravity, throw it out the window, right?
Yes.
So I think that's why we're so vehement about dissing gravity. But for me, the little g, I was listening to the UAP channel yesterday, and he's right. The 9.8 by 9, what is it? 9.8 meters per second squared, right?
Yeah, the drop in gravity.
Meters per second is an acceleration downwards. And in the group that I follow, Nathan Oakley's channel, where they debate the flat round Earth, there's Anthony Riley and Nathan, who are always saying there is no force. But I think Mark is in that group too, and he agrees with me that no, there is a force pulling something downwards. It's just a force that we don't know the nature of that force.
Absolutely pointless talking to you,
So-
sir. Have a good day.
It's not that there is no gravity or this. There is this effect of 9.8 meters per second acceleration downwards, and it is downwards. And if you don't admit that, then you're denying your senses, because you can feel it. And when the kids were jumping up and down in front of you in the street, I think it was in Limerick or Galway. It was in Galway.
Yeah. I mean,
They have kind of a point that yes,
yeah, they have a point, but
they're proving that, but they're not. They're kind of proving little g. But
Yes,
what you
yeah.
have to point out to them is that no, masses don't attract mass. The Cavendish experiment was bollocks. It wasn't a proper experiment. And what's the other one? The Einsteinian one, that space-time folds. And what is that? I have not got my head around it
space
yet.
time. No, I don't either.
How can a concept
Yeah.
of like time
Yeah.
fold.
But I think what we shouldn't get into is that, okay, we both agree we're dropping, but
Right.
because we can't prove what that is, we shouldn't be sort of trying to tell people what it is.
Well, my
We
point
should
is
question
that
it.
we don't have to have an answer. We
Well,
don't know
I-
the cause of the falling.
Yeah, I use buoyancy and density because that makes more sense to me, because I can feel that myself. If I go in the water, let's say, and let's say
You
I
feel a different weight.
exhale all my air,
Yes.
I'm going to sink.
Yeah.
I become heavier than the water. But if I inhale,
Mhm.
I'll float. I'll become a bit lighter than the water. So doing that personal first-hand observations, I can tell that density and buoyancy has a lot more substance to me than a magical
Well,
force.
that I'm complaining about that way of presenting it.
Have you written to me about that?
I may have done, or has somebody else?
No, it's a joke. But you complain in writing. So.
I may have. I'm serious.
No, it's a good point. Yeah, I know you are. I know you are. And I'll take that on board. We'll maybe discuss that later. Yeah.
Yeah, we will. But the density and the buoyancy for me, density is only a quality of matter. I don't know exactly what matter is. I don't even know if I believe in atoms. But through weight and whatever we have on Earth, we have kind of classified substances as being more dense and less dense. The rare ones go up, the dense ones go down, and they kind of separate from they keep separated, the rare going up and the dense going down. So this is a movement and an acceleration, and everywhere there is an acceleration in physics, right? And physics, some of physics really is science. So where there is a acceleration or change in velocity, there has to be a force, and you just have to infer that there must be a force.
Okay. Was there a change in velocity if this camera drops to the ground?
Yes.
Could you tell me where the change in
The change in velocity is the acceleration itself, because
Yeah.
the definition of acceleration is a change in velocity.
Or
So that's why it's meters per second per
could
second.
we use the word increase rather than a change?
There's a rate of change.
Is it not a development rather than a change?
Well, a change, there's a rate of increase of velocity. That's the acceleration.
Okay. Yeah, there's an increase of velocity, but I wouldn't say there was a change of velocity.
Yes, there is.
Okay, right.
At each point along that the trajectory, at each point along the trajectory, sorry, I'm in front of the camera, you would have a different velocity at every minute. Like if you just plotted it out,
It's still the movement of velocity, though, isn't it?
No, the velocity itself would change. Speed is distance over time.
Are we not just talking about increase?
Velocity is speed in a direction. So if you change direction, or if you change the speed,
but if I'm
then it's an acceleration.
If I'm dropping this camera, it's not changing direction, is it?
It is.
How?
First, it's staying there.
Oh yeah, but once I take my
moving.
energy from it, it'll drop, but it's not going to change direction.
It's in equilibrium right now.
Yeah.
And if it will change
But
from being still to going down.
It will fall straight down. It's not going to change direction.
It's going down from still. Well, you can then say point zero equilibrium would be the starting point, and change in direction could be.
But it's not changing direction. It's just increasing speed towards the ground.
Well, any if it's actually taking a direction from equilibrium, then it really is a change in direction. In a way, when you're doing vectors, it would be.
Are you talking about the change from leaving my hand to falling? Is that the change?
Yeah.
Okay, I accept that.
Stillness, actually.
I accept
equilibrium and stillness in physics is like if you have look at the litter bin. Look, see, sitting on the ground, and people are fighting in Nathan's debate right now that this is like it's at an equilibrium, so there's no more force. But according to the definition of force, the ground is actually stopping it from falling because of its solidity.
Yeah.
That's called the normal force.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that's why they say there's an equilibrium, because the downward 9.8 whatever is equally stopped by the normal force.
Yes.
So
I agree.
it kind of works for practicality.
Yes. We can observe that.
The problem with gravity.
Can we observe that?
Yes. And it would be intellectually dishonest to say that there was not a downward force.
Yeah.
The problem is they want to have a force, like they want to see someone pushing something.
Yes.
They want a physical evidence of that force. But wait, listen. Where is the
I've got to go closer to you because the mic's not very good at picking up.
Oh, really? And I'm running away from the camera. I'm very camera shy. Everybody, Harry's chasing me.
You should be so lucky.
What were we on? We were on the acceleration.
Force.
Oh yeah. Where you have an acceleration, you have to have a force, because the definition of a force is something that changes the acceleration. Now we have a charge.
Yeah, what stop is that? Too much noise.
I think that's all though.
Yeah.
That there is a force by definition.
Yeah. I get where you're coming from. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And if Anthony sees this, he's gonna kill me. He thinks I'm preaching.
Right?
He thinks I'm preaching some kind of a heretical belief.
All right. Well, it's kind of a thin line between passion and preaching, isn't it?
Gravity is a difficult subject, and whatever gravity is, we don't know it.
No,
we
we
don't
don't.
know the cause
Good.
of that pull.
Good.
It's an action at a distance. We don't know what it is.
can't-
It has nothing to do with holding the moon where it is. Right?
Very interesting.
But whatever it is, it does not have any relevance to the shape of the Earth.
If anyone's asking, this is Nora, by the way, because people come
Do you
in
know what I mean?
all the time.
Even if it was a globe, we wouldn't know what it is. If it's flat, we wouldn't know it. If it was concave, we wouldn't know what gravity is. It's a mystery in its own right. Right?
Life's a mystery.
Oh my! I thought it was another dog.
Sorry?
I thought this was another dog.
You thought it was another dog? But you've forgotten her already? Gee whiz.
Because you got her all dressed up.
In a Christmas outfit.
Not really. Can I put one thing to you if you think about it? So the intelligence. Oh yeah, the intelligence is around the sun. Three separate, entirely separate missions, yeah? Now the North Star Polaris.
Yeah, I'll get her YouTube for you, Jason, if you hold on.
Really? There would be a tolerance.
Nora,
So now I'm gonna earn my keep.
Nora, somebody's asking in the chat, what's your YouTube channel?
Oh, no one's flower.
No One's Flower.
No one's flower.
No One's Flower.
There's
Yeah.
a little flower on the side.
I know it, yeah. I recognize it, but I can never remember people's names or the channel names. So Nora's channel is Moon's Flower, or Moon's Flower. Yeah, No One's Flower. I think it's all one word, actually.
I'm just saying that that's another thing it could be. And it could be that we're not so far away. We're like
I put to you, do you think our eyes can see something that's a trillion light years away?
Well, to be fair, what we're seeing, the star isn't there anymore. It's not.
I
where
used to
that
believe that as well.
position
I used to
is
believe
anymore.
that. I used to believe that as well. What it puts you guys with maximum respect, of all due respect. I'm 35 and I've been on a quest for information most of my life, since about 27. And you are in amongst, you're in an indoctrination system now where the information they're giving you, they'll do anything they can to get into your heads. And if you stay in that system without questioning what they're telling you and thinking critically, you won't live a fulfilling life. And as hard as the truth may sound to hear sometimes, it only hurts for a small while, but a lie hurts forever. So just don't believe anything I tell you. Don't believe anything your teachers tell you. Just think critically and do some research for your own sanity. We're not here to try and prove we're right. We could be wrong. We could be. But what we are saying is that we've got lots of proof that NASA are lying. So as critically thinking adults, should we not be kind of suspicious? Yeah, and that's all we're doing. You know, we don't know what it could be triangular for all we know. But all we know is if we use natural science water, we watch it behave all our life, no matter how big a body of it is. Once it's settled, it always remains level. Builders have been using it for centuries to build buildings because it's naturally flat. And we've had no proof that it can curve. People are looking for it everywhere to find bendy water, and you can't find it. The only time you get bendy water is when you look through a fisheye GoPro lens, what NASA provides you. Did the Felix jump, the Red Bull one? Remember he jumped out? You seen a big curve? Earth? Did you notice the whole of Earth was New Mexico? The whole of Earth wasn't that high up though. Yeah, but what important to you, if you based on the curve, what we could see, the whole Earth was New Mexico. You know, New Mexico should just be taking up a little part of that whole thing, but the whole Earth is New Mexico.
But he should, whenever you're not that high up, you don't exactly see a lot around you, and he was above New Mexico.
Warranted,
and that
warranted.
Makes sense.
So what I will say then is there's something on YouTube where just before he jumps out, they forgot to CGI the image outside his little porthole window, and you can see just before he jumps, perfectly flat in the porthole. Then it goes to his GoPro lens. Whoa, we have all this curve. If you go on YouTube, thousands of flat earthers are sending up amateur weather balloons, and these are reaching a height of about 22 miles. And these wide-angle lenses, giving us a natural observation, are just showing us a flat horizon up to your eye and a very calm, stationary earth below.
But surely, if it was flat, you'd be able to see as far like the way across.
You know when you're in a corridor?
Yeah.
Imagine you're in a corridor, it goes on and on and on. What's going to happen at the end?
It does get smaller.
Convergence, yes, just like we're trying to explain. Thank you, Harry. You're on the ball, aren't you?
No.
We were not allowed to say that. So we're just explaining this. It's perspective. So, for example, when the sun goes out of our line of sight, they've had us think that it's set and it's gone under the horizon. Many videos online now, the sun disappears out of our eyes, but using these extremely powerful zoom cameras, they zoom in where the sun is disappeared. So you said my conversation is all right. Yeah.
So then do you explain like the different time zones and like the sun comes up at different times of the day?
Okay, so don't quote me on this, but what we've come to think, which makes sense, is it also explains the seasons. So the sun and the moon are chasing each other all year like this.
Hello there, I'm filming for my YouTube channel and I'm asking people what the reaction is to what I'm seeing here. Do you mind if I ask you your reaction?
Sure.
Okay. Initially, what did you think when you came across this?
I've never heard about this before, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. I've heard about NASA and governments telling lies before, so.
Do you know some people, especially younger people, tell me, yes, I believe everything the government tells me, and the government doesn't lie to me.
Say that again.
Some of the young people I interview have said that, yes, I believe the government's telling me the truth, and they don't lie to me.
I believe the opposite. I don't believe a lot of what they say.
So do I, but I can't believe people are actually saying that they believe the government doesn't lie to them.
Yeah. I mean, if you do your own research, you'll get to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just so much conflicting information that's been kept from us on all subjects, from health to politics to science.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, can I ask you honestly, do you think you live on a globe model?
Do I think I live
on a globe?
I honestly don't know. I'm open.
That's very honest.
I'm open to other suggestions like this.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would be open.
Could I suggest to you that when we were both young, about 5 years old, we believed in fairy stories like Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy. Then they take you into a classroom when we're gullible and naive, and they tell us we live in a spinning ball walking around it. And we totally believe that.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, as a thinking, independent critical thinker, mature in years, can I ask you to answer a question: how can water conform to the exterior of a ball?
Yeah, I was actually just reading that before you come over to me, and that's actually something to think about. I've never actually thought about that before. So.
But you're in the same boat as all of us. We've never thought about that because it gets when we were young. And any critical thinking we do have or in touch with our senses, that's crashed out of us in the place of authority. So authority must know. Why would they lie to us? So that we grow up believing we're being told the truth about where we live, and we're not.
Yeah. Well, over the last few years, I've started to do a lot of research myself about many different things. So
Yes.
I've come to see a lot about what I believe the government is lying about, and that's like it's
I mean,
mind blowing.
I know the level of the lies is just, it's almost completely opposite to what I've been told at school, the
Yeah.
lies that we come across.
Yeah.
But did you know all those images of Earth from space are not real photographs?
I had heard things like that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you research, if you put in Robert Simon,
Okay.
Photoshop images,
Right.
he's the one that produces those blue marble shots from space.
Right. Okay.
Now, he's in an interview, he's claiming they're not photographs.
Yeah.
I make them from Photoshop.
Wow. And who is he? Does he work for?
He's a digital visualizer that NASA employed to produce the blue marble shots.
Yeah.
And if you notice on a spacewalk or on the moon, nobody's ever taken a video camera and turned 360. That's the first thing you would do if you went to the moon or a mountain.
Yeah.
Now, they don't do a 360 shot because now there's Coronation Street.
Yeah.
Because it would show you the studio.
That's
and
Yeah.
Now, people aren't asking these provocative questions of, okay, why have we not done a single lens camera turning 360?
Yeah. Has anybody ever asked them that? Have you seen that question being asked?
No. Well, I went to
Because I would
see.
be interested to know what would be said about that.
Yeah, it probably wasn't important at the time, and but why would it not be important? My God, look at that view.
Yeah.
Of course, you'd want to capture that, you know.
I've heard stories about it not being real and things like that. I would listen to David Eggman again, a couple of other people. And it's I like hearing alternative things that are being said.
Surely, to be informed on a subject, we need to know both sides.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, by all means, rubbish it once you've looked into it. But dismissed without inquiry. I mean, to me, that's lunacy.
Yeah.
And people come back, oh, and they laugh at this, but yet they believe they live in a spinning ball, bendy water on it. The world's mad, you know.
Yeah.
And we might have bought that when we were 5 years old, when we didn't develop our critical thinking. But now we develop our critical thinking. The theory of gravity holding water to a ball has never been proved.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much out there that I think we have the potential of finding out ourselves if we do it ourselves, if we look ourselves.
I quite agree.
My feeling on it is, and I feel quite strongly about this, is they don't want us knowing.
That's what's right.
They don't want us knowing.
Absolutely.
People who are in power don't want us knowing. They want to control us as much as possible.
Yeah.
And that is everything about us, every part of our life. So, and it's getting worse. That's how I see it.
There's so much more and more control, so much suppression of knowledge, and we're just given a little segment from the mainstream media, and they give us the news they think we want to know about.
Yeah, I don't watch TV anymore. I
Oh,
don't
good,
follow
man.
the news.
Good. I threw my TV out about 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I just find it so patronising and condescending.
It
And
blinds you. It
Yeah.
just numbs your brain.
it does, yeah. Numbing the brain. And the fluoride they put in the water as well, of course. You know about that.
Yeah, I have a big water filter in the house.
Oh,
so
good.
I don't drink the tap water.
So you're taking sense. But perhaps that's why you're here with an open mind today.
Maybe.
You're not fluoridated to death.
Yeah.
If people say, "Oh, I don't mind if they're lying to me. I don't care. What does it matter?"
Yeah.
What does it matter? That's exactly how the government would want you to think, isn't it?
That's the way it is.
Give you enough fluoride and say, "I don't care. What does it matter?"
Yeah.
Jesus.
It keeps you lazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have to think things through because
Yeah.
people tell you how it is rather than you discovering
Yeah,
how
they
it
want
is.
to think for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't use our brains anymore. We just repeaters when the people said on the news or the newspapers.
But I think slowly people are beginning to wake up to all of this. I don't know how long it will take for big change to happen. Maybe not in our lifetimes. I don't know. It would be great to see.
Yeah. I'm really encouraged by you saying that. You know, that makes me feel good when I hear that.
Yeah.
That more and more people are becoming aware or waking up, and it's because the amount of people I do meet, and I think, well, I'll just get my coat, end it now. you know. And but when we meet fellow people who are thinking for themselves and questioning, not necessarily believing what we believe, but who are taking things on board and are willing to listen to an alternative point of view.
At least thinking about it.
Yeah,
Questioning themselves, questioning what they believe, questioning what people are telling them.
Yeah, and I think if you're a true friend, you will try to help your friend question things, you know, by raising things with them. Yeah. So, what's your name?
Colin.
Alan.
Colin.
Oh, Callum.
Colin.
Callum, it's been a pleasure speaking to you,
Yeah,
man.
you too.
And
What's
thank
your
you very
name?
much, Harry.
Harry. Pleased to meet you, Harry.
I'll give you my YouTube channel for you.
Yeah.
There you go. You can see that video on there. There's a live one at the moment, but I'll also be making a video later for it. So, thank you very much, Callum, man. Okay, all the best to you. Do you mind I'm filming for YouTube? Do you mind? Do any of you mind if I'm filming for YouTube?
I don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
As it
So what I'm trying to establish for you from the beginning, right, is you know, as I said, a cup of water. Is the cup contained in the water? The water's inside the cup. Is it? It is, isn't it? If you got a bath. If you got a bath of water, is the water contained?
I know, but the plug hole
But that's got no.
goes round the water.
So what I'm trying to
that
establish.
would coincide with the spinning.
The edge of the world, yeah. No, I don't. Could you tell me where it is?
No, but you're saying the Earth's flat, so surely there has to be an edge.
Did I tell you the Earth is flat?
No, you're videoing this.
Pardon?
You're videoing this. I'm assuming you're.
Oh, yeah, I'm videoing it. But
I'm assuming you're part of this.
Did I tell you the Earth was flat?
No, but you're saying it's all a lie.
What does?
It says right there. You've been told lies.
No, but when did I say it was flat?
Well, you have been told lies.
You don't think you've been told lies and stuff?
Well, right. If the Earth's flat, there
No,
has to be an edge. It
no,
doesn't
no.
go
You
on
said
forever.
two things there. Can we just take it step by step?
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying. I'm asking you.
I'm
where
not
the
saying
edge
you're
of the world
arguing. I'm just asking if you can take one point at a time, please.
Okay, right.
You said two things there.
Go
You
ahead.
said you were aghast that I'm saying that you've been lied to. You don't think you've been lied to?
No, not really. I tend to believe science over.
So do you believe the government's telling you the truth about everything?
Not everything, but I'm just saying. That's...
So you have been told lies.
Yeah, but
so that's not.
No. You're twisting everything here.
No, no, I'm not. Oh dear. Oh dearie me.
You see what I mean? So there's always two sides to the story.
Not everyone's going to agree.
She just said that online, flat earthers seem to be quite nasty and like to all earthers.
Give me a cuddle.
The attitude.
Well, does it not go both?
This is that attitude. And am I giving you any attitude? I'm not, am I? We're not.
No.
You just have to
am I giving you attitude? Am I? Am I giving you
Which side are you then?
What side am I? I'm right in the middle of you two, actually.
No, I mean, are you for this flat Earth or are you for the spinning?
Well, I don't make any claims. I'm questioning. I'm asking for proof that I live on a spinning ball. So I'm searching for proof.
Yeah.
Can you think of any proof to convince me that I live on a spinning ball?
Can you convince us that we can live on a spinning ball so we can go out?
Are you doing the spinning ball too? Or are you doing the flat Earth?
I'm asking
We're both
questions
asking
as well.
questions. Can you convince us stupid people flat
I'm not trying to convince anyone. I'm independent to my own beliefs, like everyone else is.
Yep.
And
we
you
respect
will
those.
Yeah, thank you. I do to yours.
Thank you.
You will find though, trying to come across, pushing your beliefs onto others.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
Some will say that you're angry, or some will come across.
But that's
really
because
angry.
they're immature, isn't it? But that's not my fault if they can't angle information, is it? That's down to their immaturity level. Would you agree? You get angry because somebody else tells you something different to what you already know?
So what you believe. Everyone's
Yeah,
got
so
different
if those
beliefs.
person
If
get
it
upset,
doesn't
then
conform to that belief, then obviously they are not going to go your way. And if you keep trying to push and it goes against their belief,
but no one's
they
trying to push
will.
anything.
Do you feel we're trying to push?
No.
Oh, good. We don't want
But
to.
not everyone's like me.
Down to earth that's a pity.
and chilled out.
That's a pity.
You know, so
What are you drinking?
nothing.
So listen, we met here today and we're not trying to push anything onto anybody. We're just asking people to think about reality and see if it matches. As simple as that. And if you think that you live on the
Do you
ball,
know
that's
what?
fine.
I would rather do stuff that's going to get me to somewhere in life rather than all this
Critical thinking will get you where you need to go.
But we're all different, aren't we? We should respect what we all want to do differently. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go and do something which I think is a bit strange, I'm not going to judge you for it.
I mean, this isn't like education to get a good job, is it?
Is getting a good job the be all and end all in life?
Success is all this and going to get you,
Success
going to make you successful.
But what,
Is he really going to
what do you
make
mean by success?
Is he going to make you a businessman?
What's the definition of a success? Could you tell me what your definition of success is?
My definition of success is personal growth. Pushing yourself to as far as you can go.
I like that.
Do I need a job? Do I need,
expanding your personal growth. No, it's
do I need
all
a job
about
to do that?
education, but the flat earth or is it a spinning ball isn't really going to get you much, is it? I mean, where's it going to get you in life?
It's changed all our lives.
How?
It's made us more empowered. We've realised.
In what way?
Knowing where we're not, discovering untruths that were bestowed upon us all my life.
Yeah.
So I feel a bit more empowered and confident by knowing that, and it's encouraged my own.
Talk about your success.
Okay, I will do.
What has this done for your success?
Let me. It's encouraged my critical thinking.
Right.
It's made me happier and more content.
Yeah.
And I feel I'm a nicer person because of it, because I don't want to harm anybody. I care about the earth, and I care about animals. I care about you. I don't wish to cause offence. I think that's a success.
Yeah, I care about a lot of people, and I don't need to get into all of this.
No, you don't need to. And we're not forcing you to.
No, I know.
We're setting
It's all about feeling. The only way you're going to really know is if you go up in space and look down onto the earth.
What
so when you do that, let me know and I'll come on YouTube with you.
But what have we exposed lies? Should we know then?
Honestly,
Yes.
go up there.
I'm out of battery. All right.
Yeah, but anyway.